David Lowe, thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Sure. So, why are you running, and why should Republicans vote for you over incumbent Stephanie Klick?
Okay, people want change. They want the invasion stopped at the border. They want to secure elections, and the appraisal system is out of control. People want change. Remember, CPAC ranked us the 26th most conservative state in the country, and we've had the majority for 2 decades. Republican voters want Republicans to lead Texas.
And so, what do you want to see change specifically that isn't being done?
Well, I want the border secured, right? No more of this incrementalism. We need to shut down the border, stop the invasion. You know, elections, we need to make elections more secure. You know, half the country doesn't support or believe our election process is safe and secure. Property tax appraisals, right? They're out of control. You should not have to go to the government with evidence. They are raising our property tax appraisals, and the burden should not be on the taxpayer.
And what are the major differences in this race between you and your opponent as far as the issues are concerned and as your backgrounds?
So, you know, me as a military veteran, I worked also in law enforcement in the military side and on the civilian side. You know, I have leadership skills, leading troops in combat. I believe that we need change. Okay, that's what this whole election is about, and I offer that change. My opponent is a multi-year career politician who has raised over $4 million for a job that pays $600 a month, right? We need normal, everyday folks to lead Texas and make Texas conservative again.
And so how do you see Texas not conservative?
Well, for one, property tax appraisals. They keep going up. You know, we had a 33...
We just had reform.
Yes.
Because there was a property tax appraisal bill.
Yes.
And that didn't go anywhere. And the next thing that happened was the lieutenant governor's bill and taking off the money right off the cap, you know, the home exemptions.
Yes.
Raising that. So is that not working in your
Well,
opinion?
first, you said the bill didn't go anywhere.
The property appraisal
yes,
bill did.
Right. We have the majority. Everything that we want should get passed. Secondly, the appraisal, we had a $33 billion surplus going into 2023. We gave less than half back to the property owners. We gave $18 billion in corporate welfare. We are putting corporations and the needs of corporations above the needs of the voters and the constituents here in Texas.
Let me ask you about abortion.
Okay.
Talk to me a little bit about, I've seen where you've criticized Representative Klick. Is she not strong enough on abortion?
What I support is the Republican Party of Texas platform on abortion, which is the same laws that protect you and me should protect everybody else, to include preborn children.
Which means what exactly?
What does it mean? It means the same laws that protect you and me. You know, the 14th Amendment, it supports everybody. Everybody is equal protection under the law, and I believe that should protect unborn children too. Remember,
well, give me some specifics on that. I mean, are you talking about murder? If there's an abortion, are you equating that to murder and the person who is, you know, whether it's the mother or a doctor? I mean, should they be charged with murder? Is that what you're saying?
That would be up to the courts if anything goes forward. But you know what? You can't blame me as a Republican for supporting our Republican Party of Texas platform. Now, we have the convention, and they are going to actually expand on the views of abortion because it's a hot topic right now. So no matter what it is, I will just support the platform on abortion, right? You know, if we don't support the platform on abortion, then we allow the left to control the narrative. And they want to kill preborn children. I want to save them. So, you know, remember, Republican Party of Texas legislative priority number 6, voted on by the delegates, said equal protection for unborn children. So that's my answer.
as far as abortion is concerned, the number of abortions has dropped in the
Yes.
state since the Heartbeat Act, Senate Bill 8 went into effect, House Bill 1280, the trigger law that went into effect. And so, what more do you think needs to be done?
Well, we got to stop the influx of pills. I know volunteers that support me that can actually call people and get abortion pills over the phone. They can get them delivered right here in Texas. We have got to stop that. You know, the Republican Party of Texas is adamant on protecting the preborn, and no matter what form that looks like, we've got to do more. Remember, all lives matter, correct? So we have got to continue this fight, right? Do I have all the answers on abortion? Absolutely not. But I do know that until we save every single preborn child, we have not done enough.
When I spoke with Representative Klick, she said that the equal protection is code for charging a mom, a doctor with murder.
Yeah, she says a lot of stuff.
Is that not it right?
So what I am saying is, because based on what you just quoted my opponent, she doesn't support the Republican Party of Texas platform on equal protection. So I support it, she doesn't.
You discussed a little bit about your priorities. What would your top three be if you're elected?
Securing the border, stopping the invasion, securing our elections, and freezing property tax appraisals.
With regards to property taxes,
Yes.
There's a lot of discussion right now as to eliminating the M&O portion of the school property tax.
Yes.
Is that something you support? And if so, how quickly would you like to see that implemented? And what would be your alternative funding sources to fund state government and then fund public schools?
Yes, I support the complete elimination of property taxes, starting with the M&O taxes, right? There are many plans. Many states have had multiple plans ranging from 7 to 10 years. It would be a phase out. That's really what it is. You know, we had a $33 billion surplus, for example, in 2023. We save up those surpluses instead of giving them back to corporations. We buy down the M&O taxes as we create a new funding source. Now, do I have the exact specifics? No, because I've read many plans. Keep in mind that we need to have public hearings. Remember, the Republican voters, primary voters, previously have overwhelmingly supported the elimination of property taxes, and the Texas House refuses to even have a hearing on the issue. So the very first step is to have a hearing to allow think tanks, investors, individual property owners to come and express themselves, right? We don't have all the answers on this, but we have to move the ball forward. Voters have spoken, they want it, and it's time to deliver.
Do you support pay raises for teachers?
I do. If you want quality, you got to pay for it.
And what about the giving more schools, public schools, more money per child, per student?
I would support giving more money to children, to schools. However, we also have to balance the wasteful spending. We have to eliminate wasteful spending. And so it's a tough balance. I talk to teachers from Birdville and Keller all the time, and they also understand the administration costs are rising at a rapid rate. We're not putting the money back in the classroom, back in the teachers, and that's where it needs to go. It needs to be a frontline effort.
Do you support school choice?
Do I support school choice? Of course I support school choice, and I also support the governor's plan, right? However, keep in mind, we can also have school choice in one conversation, and we can have school finance reform in another. It is not mutually exclusive.
So you don't think they need to be tied together, they should be separate bills?
They could be, right? The thing is, we didn't have a lot of hearings on it. We need to have hearings. The way a bill really develops is by having hearings and taking input from the community, and that's what I support.
What did you make of the pro-Palestinian protests at UT Austin, UT Dallas? There was some criticism by the protesters and others of police being invited in to go make arrests. Where are you on that?
Well, first of all, the anti-Israel protests were sickening, right? I support everyone's First Amendment rights, but when you start interrupting the school, you start disrupting the processes. Remember, these are Texas publicly funded universities, and we need to have law and order. So I back the blue all the way on this.
You spoke a little bit before about border security.
Yes.
And I'm wondering, as you know, SB 4 is now in the federal courts.
Yes.
And the federal courts may ultimately overturn it, may decide it's unconstitutional. If that were to happen, what then?
Stop the invasion. I don't care what the federal government says, stop the invasion. I don't care what the federal courts say, stop the invasion, right? Look, think about this. On 9/11, over 2,900 people were murdered, right? Tragic day. Think about the number of people that have died from drugs and violence from coming over our southern border illegally. I say shut it down. The federal government's not going to send troops into Texas. Texas has the right to defend itself, and I don't care about anything else other than shutting down the border, right? The federal government can kick rocks for all I care. Texas has the right to defend itself.
What do you make of what the state has already done?
What I think it's been $1 late and $1 short, right? Keep in mind, my opponent says she's a champion on border security. She was elected in 2012, 2013, 2014, 2015, all the way to 2023. Look, the border wasn't an issue. Now it's an issue, right? That's why we are the 26th most conservative state in the country. We have the majority and we're not acting like it. Remember, House Bill 20 was killed by a liberal parliamentarian in a Republican-controlled House. We can do everything we want in Texas as Republicans if we act like we have the majority.
And let me ask you about Ken Paxton impeachment.
Yes.
Why did you think it's wrong, and do you think the process of impeachment needs to change?
Yes, I do believe the process of impeachment needs to change. Was it wrong? Absolutely. Every single voter that voted for Ken Paxton, the Attorney General, it was overturned. They tried to overturn it, right? Just like they tried to do with Donald Trump, overturning the will of the people. It was wrong. He was acquitted on all counts, found not guilty on all counts, and he has been the strongest fighter in Texas, and I totally support him 100%.
As you know, the whistleblower lawsuit against the Attorney General's office is continuing.
Yes.
If that lawsuit, if the whistleblowers are to win that lawsuit, should taxpayers foot the bill?
I don't talk about hypotheticals, okay?
Well, it's a reality.
Well, you know what? You're right. And when we get to that, I will talk about it. But until then, I'm just focused on making sure that the Attorney General has all the ability and tools to do his job.
Do you support Dave Phelan if he is to win his runoff election?
Hell no.